But if I get elected president, I will bring it back. Bigger, better, stronger. Bigger, better, stronger. Bigger, better, stronger. Bigger, better, stronger.
Alright, so as always, a lot happened, but first I would like to give these videos a little bit more structure because I might be doing a lot more of them now considering how many cool things we're doing. So first I would like to actually start by answering some of the comments I've gotten on the last video. That's because ToneDev, for example, said this, and yes, that is already a thing. We already keep a track record of who gave whom what qualifications, and so the idea is that you can imagine it as a kind of tree of users, and if one of them turns out to be a troll and give, aspiring to 10,000 people, we can just prune the entire tree from that point on and like bulk remove all of the trolls. The issue there is that this still gives them a window to operate, and I kind of wanted to narrow down that window. I wanted to reduce the harm they could cause. So yes, no matter what happens, we can fix it. It just, is going to be really annoying as we're fixing it, so I wanted to fix that. Then we have the peak intro from Naftism, thank you, hope you enjoyed this one. From Silver, call me a slice of pie the way I got all this motion. And speaking of motions actually, and this is the best one, help page is very nice, still don't know what the fuck a motion is though. The reason why this is the best comment in my opinion, the funniest one, it may not seem funny on the surface, but the important context to mention is that DDB is one of the developers of the website. You see, I most of the time mention Caper and Edu because Caper is usually in charge of integrating new systems, which is really annoying, difficult work, and Edu is in charge of database and data storage effectively, and Edu is doing absolute artistry, and DDB got brought into a project without all many skills, but over the time has learned, and at this point DDB is honestly really good at it. So good in fact that DDB is completely and solely responsible for the notification system. And I say system, that's not just front-end, that is also back-end, that is full set of notification utilities that works together. It is really impressive, really well done. And this is kind of how I knew that the help page was necessary, because if one of the developers doesn't know what a certain system does, that's a pretty big problem. Anyhow, time for more things. I did some off-camera work, again, obviously, and now if you go to the website, you should be able to see this, a toolbox in the corner, which takes you to, you won't believe it, the toolbox. Although I am tempted to call it the lunchbox because of all the pies. Toolbox will be the place on the website for utilities, things that are generally useful. So far, there is 3 of them. The first one is just a subfield viewer that allows you to view different subfields, see what they are, some data about them, experts, stuff like that. Second one is a paper generator. So basically, we have this template, LaTeX template, that you can use in order to write things about different subfields, and that one allows you to basically generate that template. So you just pick the subfield of your choosing, and it gives you back the template with all the entire color palette filled in. That's the basic idea. As not all color palettes are filled in yet, I still need to fill in all the color palettes for all the different subfields. So once I'm done with that, then then it will work completely. Finally, the third one, which I like the most, and that is this. Yup, that's right, we have a terminal now. I cannot tell you how pleased I am with that one, mainly because of how it's actually integrated, because it's integrated in a way that each command actually has a specific API call, and these are just genuinely useful API paths, which means that the terminal is actually surprisingly useful of a tool. I started it off simply because I liked the aesthetic, but it genuinely ended up being one of the more useful things. So for example, when it goes to linking subfields together to determine which one is an adjacent subfield, I just made a command for it in the terminal and I can just do it. Anyhow, that's great and all. More fixes on the website, stuff like that. But I actually have something else to talk to you about, something a lot more important. And that is a new kind of system, let's call it. But it won't really even be a system, more like a new plan. I have an idea and I want you to tell me what you think, effectively. And the idea is simple. I want to create something that will be called the bakery. The bakery will basically be a way for you to suggest different science things for us to do. And when I say science things, I do mean science. Anything from experiments, software design, web utilities, hardware designs, anything like that. Then you would be able to propose that kind of thing, then let other people vote on it. Vote on which of these proposals they have the most interest in. And then if we find specific proposals which everyone seems to find at least somewhat interesting, we would proceed on them. We try to bring them into reality, create them in a free and open way. And if we need a budget doing that, we would probably start a crowdfunder. That's the idea. So how about we go with a more concrete example? A good example of this kind of pie for the bakery. Oh yeah, by the way, that's what I'm calling it, pies, which is public interest experiments. So that kind of pie would be, for example, I don't know, a software program that is meant to mimic keyboard and mouse inputs. So the idea is that, let's say you want to automate certain tasks for certain things which don't have APIs. What you could then do is you could start this kind of program, click on specific places on your screen, push some specific buttons, and then the program would record it, and then you would be able to set it on loop, for example. So this would be an example of some kind of software that you would find useful. An idea you had, something you needed, and then you could submit a request for that kind of pie, and if enough people show interest, we would do it. So let's say that you are working on some kind of robot, and you need something that takes in 4 inputs, and based on those inputs, it determines the flow of voltage, and each one of these 4 inputs would represent either voltage flowing forward or backwards, but never zero. Either positive or negative, never zero. You're building something very specific. In that scenario, if the circuit you are looking for is specific enough, you may find that it isn't really available. So what you could do is you could make a pie proposal, and if enough people are interested, then we would get on that, we would design this kind of circuit. And listen, I want to be honest with you. The reason why I want to do it is because I'm wasting a bit over here. I have abilities, quite a lot of them, in fact. From theoretical science, I am able to explain from basic classical mechanics through advanced quantum mechanics or even quantum field theory with basically ease. Same with mathematics. When it comes to computer science, I have this whole graphical engine project I started a while back ago, and recently I've begun working on my own operating system. I am able to explain extremely detailed concepts from computer science through how memory operates in general. When it comes to electrical engineering, I mean, this is a battery-powered bottle of Jack Daniels I made effectively for fun, which you can turn on, and it is sound activated, so if I am actually loud enough, then it's gonna light up and it's gonna start showing colors. The point is, I'm a scientist, for goodness sake. I know a lot of things, and I want to use that knowledge, those skills I have developed over the years, to do something for you. To just make things which you will find useful. To make it happen. Okay, that last one was too much even for me. That make it happen didn't need to be there. This is Jackie, by the way. There are many more projects I've worked on. The hexagon that is Taxi, powered by my own graphical engine to render the column free. The point is, I can do a lot of things. And in the past, I myself have been in those situations where I've been missing something, you know? Either some RGB light controller or some kind of specific packet converter, like things which are really simple and trivial, but I need them like once a month, so there is no point making them, no point automating the process. But if we get enough people together, then it might be worth it, you know? Designing some kind of hyper-specific circuit just for me could be a waste of time. But if I'm to do it for hundreds or thousands of people, then it hopefully wouldn't be a waste of time. So that's the idea. That's the system I would like to implement, the pies, where anyone would be able to suggest any kind of requests for any kind of scientific experiment, software, hardware, technology in general, stuff like that, and I would make it happen. That's it. I already made like I don't want to call it a mock-up because it's a fully functional page on the website. It's just not plugged into the backend yet because I first wanted to hear your thoughts, hear what you think, and only then add it in. So let me know. Let me know what you think, and I'll get back to work.